Hi, I'm Paul Gravatt. I joined ERA at the height of lockdown, the middle of 2020, and I live in Felsted, Essex in the UK. Learning about different clients' businesses in different sectors and then applying the knowledge and experience and skills that I've got to the needs of that sector is always rewarding. Really understanding businesses, getting under the bonnet and seeing how they work is fascinating. So I got introduced to a builder's merchant 2 days before their renewal, which is due on the 31st of January 2024. They're a 100-year-old company, well-established business, but they weren't happy with their insurance. Unfortunately, 48 hours didn't give me a lot of time. I did propose a strategy to them. At that time, they felt a bit rushed and didn't implement it, but they did invite me to come back and have a conversation in 9 months' time. When I did, and got in depth in what was going on with the way they managed risk and addressed insurance, their problems were even bigger than I realised 9 months earlier. The most recent example had been where they'd had a claim in August 2024 where they'd not had a penny paid despite a major fire in the adjacent building, meaning their customers couldn't get to their premises to collect their supplies, which had a massive impact on their revenue and profits, and their insurers hadn't paid a penny. They were not approaching the insurers in the right way, they weren't getting the right advice from their broker, and they needed a complete reset of process. So to understand their needs, I really had to understand their business fully. So I spent a lot of time asking about what they did, how they did it, what their plans were going forward, what challenges they faced in the market, what competition they were under, and only once I really fully understood the business could I address their total cost of risk and how we could go about mitigating that. As an example, they were not reporting claims in the most efficient way, particularly on their motor fleet, where claims were going straight into insurers, and insurers were then allowing those claims to escalate in volume and value by failing to address third-party elements quickly. So we changed the way in which they reported claims, brought them into a broker's in-house claims management business, which had a 2-hour turnaround response. They were reporting those claims haphazardly previously. We introduced a claims reporting app, and we also are currently trialling a technology-based risk management device that they've applied to all of their vehicles, which is intended to address driver culture and behaviours to improve the performance of fleets. So we were engaged for an initial minimum 3-year period, but we were aware when we got engaged that they were only halfway through a minimum 24-month contract with their current insurers, and the rates were therefore set until renewal in January 26. That left us with limited scope to do anything about premiums in the short term. We managed the client's expectations around that. They saw the value that we added was very much around the process improvement, and tangible value was getting claims paid that previously weren't being paid. That generated an inflow to them within 3 months of us being engaged of about £400,000. So they saw any cost reductions at January 25 as a bonus. Despite the restrictions we were operating under with the 2-year contract, we were able to deliver further cost savings of about £50,000 though, which represented something like 6% of their annual spend. The real savings, however, will be delivered, we believe, as a consequence of the process improvements we've implemented now at renewal in January 26, when we're hopeful of extending those savings well into 6 figures. I think the USP for ERA is that we do everything, nearly everything, at our risk on a contingent fee-based model. So many insurance brokers might have approached a company such as this and made all sorts of promises, but they weren't paying, regardless of the outcomes. We live or die by the outcomes, which I think makes us a fairly unique proposition.